40 years after the war ended, this sound can still be heard here and there in Quang Tri province. At age 20, Ho Van Lai has his own aspirations, like any other young adult. Discovering knowledge, leading his own life, becoming a helpful person. But he cannot enjoy even simple joys, such as playing soccer. Never again will he feel the ball touch his feet. A cluster bomb took his 2 legs and 1 arm. Forever. The injuries significantly prevent Lai from living a normal life. However, the bomb may have taken his legs and 1 arm, but it did not take his extraordinary will to live.
Em thích những công việc nào đó mà đi xa nhà và rong ruổi, ví dụ như là đi bộ đội hoặc là thủy thủ đó. Bởi vì em cũng giống như bao người con trai khác thì cũng thích những công việc của mình mà. Yeah.
Even though you have grown up, it still feels like you're my little girl, and I will care for you as long as I can. 54 years old, but Nguyen Thi Mẹ still has her mother brush her hair every day because she can't do it for herself. For ages, this bicycle has not been used because its owner no longer has 2 hands to ride like a normal person. Sitting by the fire, she still feels a lack of warmth. 54 years old, but not married. No man to share her life. No children around her to make a family. The simple happiness of other women seems impossible for her to know. At age 20, she became disabled, her most youthful, beautiful age.
Đi khai hoang, đi làm cuộc ruộng nữa, đi bị thương. Bị thương thì sau khi họ đem về để bệnh viện đó là 2 ngày sau mới tin.
But putting aside her own sorrows, she has taken care of her aging mother and her little nephew with her only 1 hand. In Quang Tri, you can easily meet so many unfortunate people like Mẹ and Lai. As the temporary demarcation line between north and south during the war, Quang Tri province was heavily bombed and shelled for 21 years. If divided up equally, about 4 tons of munitions would have fallen on each person in Quang Tri, just one of the many statistics indicating the devastation caused by the war. According to UNICEF, it costs as little as $3 to produce a mine, but $1,000 to destroy it. This poor province still lives with deadly threats, even though the war ended 40 years ago. Established in 2001, Project Renew, Restoring the Environment and Neutralizing the Effects of the War, is a humanitarian collaboration between Quang Tri province and international organizations, non-governmental organizations, to address the problem of explosive remnants of war, ERW.
The Project Renew staff are some of the best national staff that we've ever worked with in the 30 different countries that MPA works in around the world.
More than 80 Vietnamese employees of Renew have been trained to international standards and provided with modern tools and equipment. Operations including ERW clearance, risk education, victim assistance and community development are implemented on an integrated basis to ensure sustainability and efficiency. Renew is now seen as a proven model effective in humanitarian mine action response and is highly regarded by central government agencies and the international community.
Tất cả chúng ta sinh ra thì cũng ai muốn là phải làm những cái nghề nguy hiểm bom mìn hết. Nhưng mà tại Quảng Trị mình thì thứ nhất là cái nỗi đau của chiến tranh là nó dai dẳng. Ngay như bản thân gia đình tôi cũng có 2 người phải vì bom bi bom chùm mà mất đi. Và những người khác này cũng vì cái sinh nhai mà đi đào bới bom bi bom chùm để kiếm cái mình sống nữa mà cũng bị đó mà bị mất.
In Hai Lang, Chiêu Phong and Cam Lo districts, the number of casualties has decreased from 29 in 2001 to only 5 in 2010. More than 15,000 items of ERW have been safely removed, and many hectares of contaminated land have been cleaned up. Everywhere in the world, people give others jewelry, perfumes and souvenirs. Here in Quang Tri, an artificial limb is a special gift for many. In 2008, Project Renew launched a prosthetics and orthotics mobile outreach program to provide services to people with disabilities in rural, mostly mountainous areas of the province who had never had access to such services. For years they have had to limp along with a wooden crutch. Today, doctors and technicians travel into remote areas in a van equipped with tools and machines to conduct on-site examinations, to fit and adjust these custom devices, to make sure amputees and other mobility-impaired children and adults can function comfortably with their high-quality limbs and braces. According to a finding of the Department of Labour, War Invalids and Social Affairs, Quang Tri has over 34,000 people with disabilities. 2,000 of those are amputees. Artificial limbs bring happiness into their lives. Ho Van Lai had received such a gift. After his accident, when he had lost 4 limbs, Lai didn't dare to imagine that one day he could stand on his own feet, although these feet were not his bone, his flesh, his skin. To Nguyen Thi Mẹ, happiness is having a job to support herself and her 80-year-old mother, and having savings to help her in case of illness or other emergency. With financial support from Project Renew, a herd of cattle is helping her to overcome the difficulties in her life.
Hôm bị khẩn thành kín tòa bác bớt đi con bò. Bây giờ dự án họ cho bà đẻ ra bà bán con bò, bà đi vô Trung Thủy là chữa bệnh sống là về cho không thì không có con bò nữa thì nói chung là giờ dự án cho thì là miệng phải nằm ở nhà rồi.
Project Renew's revolving credit loans program has helped lift hundreds of disabled families in Chiêu Phong, Hai Lang and Cam Lo districts out of poverty. With loans from the programs, families now have a better life by raising cattle, producing bamboo toothpicks, growing high-yield grasses. One of Project Renew's most innovative programs to generate income for ERW victim families, thanks to a partnership with the Humpty Dumpty Institute of New York City, is the Mushrooms with a Mission initiative. This man has a strong spirit, and Project Renew gave him more energy to feed himself and his family, despite the fact that he lost both legs because of mines. With the mushrooms he has raised and harvested through financial support and technical assistance from Project Renew, brings his family earns tens of millions in income every year. It is expected that up to 1,000 households will directly benefit from this program. Children are particularly vulnerable to ERW accidents because of their curiosity and lack of knowledge of safety. It is a painful fact, but 30% of ERW victims are children. Since risk education is an important contribution toward reducing mine accidents, Project Renew opened a humanitarian mine action visitors center. This facility educates youngsters born after the war about the fierceness of the war and its impact on the land and people of Quang Tri. Children learn about current efforts by the authorities, local residents and international organizations to address the ERW problem. After a blast injury from a cluster bomb or mine or other ordnance, the first hour is the most critical for saving the life of a severely maimed and traumatized patient. Project Renew and the Tromsø Mine Victim Resources Centre of Norway, which has provided significant funding and resources, have upgraded Quang Tri's capacity to respond to medical emergencies and trauma treatment. 21 doctors were trained by professors and doctors from Norway to become on-site trainers, and more than 2,000 doctors, nurses, emergency technicians and village health workers were trained in life-saving skills and treatment of injuries. Project Renew has provided support to the Quang Tri Province Medical College to set up a trauma emergency and obstetrics room that provides professional opportunities for more than 500 students and teachers. In addition, Vinh Linh, Huong Hoa, Da Krong, Chiêu Hai and Hai Lang hospitals have been upgraded with surgical equipment provided by Project Renew. This means that more and more serious trauma cases can be treated in district hospitals. Despite all these efforts, Quang Tri people and others living in central provinces still face ERW risks every day, every hour. Project Renew's mission is to make Quang Tri safe and to improve the living conditions of marginalized people. Every ordnance removed means one more threat to the community is removed. Every meter of land cleaned up means more people can have a peaceful life.
Chúng tôi cũng rất là cần huy động cái sự đóng góp của các cái tổ chức phi chính phủ cũng như các cái tổ chức chính phủ quan tâm đến cái việc khắc phục cái hậu quả chiến tranh tại Việt Nam. Và chúng tôi cho rằng là cái sự đóng góp đó sẽ có một cái vai trò rất là quan trọng để giúp tỉnh Quảng Trị thúc đẩy nhanh hơn cái quá trình mà làm sạch bom mìn trên địa bàn tỉnh Quảng Trị. Và cái điều đó nó có một cái ý nghĩa hết sức quan trọng về mặt kinh tế, về mặt xã hội và về mặt nhân văn.
This year, Lai will take his university entrance exam. Mẹ will raise more cows. And Dang will build more growing sheds to prepare for a new mushroom crop. People in this village no longer fear as they farm the land passed on from their ancestors. They have peace of mind and confidence to rebuild their lives for a better future. Project Renew has been working to improve livelihoods of ERW survivors and to restore painful land.